Rabbit Hole Radio is back with Pac-12 football. It is the Sonoma State Seawolves hosting the Louisianna Raging Cajuns in the season opener of this 2026 campaign. Great to have you all back on the Rabbit Hole Sports Radio Network for another season of college football as we get a Pac-12 Big 12 showdown to get this year started. For Sonoma State, a new chapter at quarterback. Teron Barnes moving on to North Carolina in the offseason. It'll be redshirt sophomore Bryce Frost splitting time with redshirt freshman John Hill, going for a two-quarterback system. Head coach Calvin Zeljak looking for a good balance of the two and looking to find rhythm with both, not looking to jump ship quickly. And it is going to be that unit, the offense, getting set to take the field first. Trayun Bell on the return for Sonoma State. He is going to run it back to around the 20-yard line, just shy at the 19, and it'll be this SSU offensive unit taking the field first. There is Frost. He will get the first crack at it, but like we said, two quarterbacks getting a look in the game here today. A lot of new faces on both sides of the ball for this Sonoma State team at quarterback, running back, primary slot back position, starting tight end, and receivers moving up on the depth chart as you see redshirt freshman Milau Westerman lining up on the right-hand side. Frost is going to get it underneath to the new slot back Ty Hardy. Saw him in the return game last season. He is going to get a pickup of 4 on the throw underneath as this Sonoma State offense, number 1 in the country in total yardage a season ago. Second consecutive year they finished top in the country in total offense. Top 10 scoring offense as well a season ago. That was an improvement, but again, going to have to do so without a dynamic athlete back there like Teron Barnes. And John Hill, the second quarterback, already getting his first look of the game here on a 2nd down and 6. He is going to keep Miguel Weeks out in front getting a block. Hill slides down for a first down. That is a pickup of 11, and it is going to be a no-huddle look for this Sonoma State offense. Quick to the line, moving around. Again, lots of new faces. Matt Clancy, one of those, a transfer from Missouri, number 14, the most inside receiver on the right-hand side, looking to the sideline to get a new play. Hill gets everyone set. Snap away. Looking for Clancy. He comes back and makes a catch. He's got room down the sideline, and he is out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. Sonoma State rumbling early on this first drive against this Raging Cajun defense. A base Sun Belt Conference team. Been up in the Big 12 since the start of this dynasty and looking to maybe get permanent membership when we reassess things after next season. If we even get that far, we may be at College Football 26 by the time we get to Season 5, as Nolan Knight on the ground there was the 3rd string running back a season ago for Sonoma State. Will take over the primary ball carrying duties for the boys in blue. Frost back in at quarterback. On the end around, this is Milau Westerman, the freshman out of Hawaii. He cuts. He's going to get a first down. Chased down by number 96, Matt McConnell, from the outside linebacker position. But it is going to be a Sonoma State first down as they move it into the red zone at the 18-yard line. And a very solid opening drive to the season for Sonoma State. Frost staying in at quarterback. This time a fullback joining the backfield with Nolan Knight. Strong I formation, twins receivers to the left side. That is Clancy and Moore. Off play action, Frost. Looks off to the right. Going to find Cole Schmidt, the new fullback, replacing Jackson Gregory. That is going to be a pickup of a few on first down. And that is going to bring up a 2nd down and 7 from the 15-yard line for the Seawolves. Like we mentioned, a lot of new faces and a little bit of a tweak schematically this year. A lot more split backs, a lot more of a pro spread kind of look where I don't even know what you would call it. Very multiple last year. A good amount of triple options still in the offense. Ball out to Nolan Knight. He's going to get 6 yards. And that is going to set up a 3rd and 1. But similar goals, trying to establish a strong run game. This is the best offensive line we have had. And situations like these, ones we need to thrive in. 3rd and 1, early, inside the 10-yard line. Frost staying in at quarterback. Again, going to look to establish a good rotation with the two as we get going here in the season. On the ground, Nolan Knight He has the first down. He is inside the 5 to the 4. And it is a 1st and goal. Seawolves, nomination. Moving the rock inside the 5. Looking to punch it in on their opening drive of this fresh campaign. John Hill going to rotate back in now. 4 minutes off the clock on this first drive. Great to see a full stadium. Huge contrast from where we started at the beginning of this dynasty. You can go back to our season opener in Season 1 against Hawaii. Might have been a full stadium, to be honest, but very quickly became empty. And last year finished with a full stadium. This year starting with a full stadium, hoping to maintain that throughout this season as we get a delay of game, as the classic minutia from myself at the line of scrimmage gets us, and we will lose 5. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line now. Got to get myself back in the rhythm for these full game broadcasts. Got to refine the stamina. It really is a lot of talking for sure. But already on the first drive and talking about it, so that's not a good sign. John Hill looking to get the guys set. Moving is Javon Moore. This is Nolan Knight up the middle. A little shy of where we were prior to the penalty. 3 carries on this opening drive for 13 yards. Going to try to figure out the rotation beyond Nolan Knight. Ty Hardy will, of course, get some carries, but who besides him will be getting the chunk of the spell carries, you would say, kind of the vocab word for backup, as we look for Milo Westerman here. Motion out LJ Young Jr. Look for Westerman on the spot, number 8. Cannot haul it in. Going to hit him on the numbers. Ball knocked out. Great job from the Raging Cajun defense, and it is going to be a 3rd and goal from the 5-yard line here. But Julius Buford is the most likely candidate to get a good chunk of them. Maybe Cameron Teague as well. But also going to have to figure out how to properly substitute guys and figure out how to get that going in the game so Nolan Knight is not overworked this season. But really excited to see what he will do, not only this year, but hopefully over the next few seasons for us in the starting role. Gonna go to the screen game on 3rd down. Ty Hardy cuts back. Cannot quite get in. Brought down at the 2-yard line. And an early decision for Coach Callie Draco. And gonna look through the playbook here, see if we have anything we like for a 4th down. But ultimately, gonna go with the field goal. Look to get points on this opening drive. George Lincoln will presume full kicking duties this year. We have another kicker who's a freshman, as well as a freshman punter who's only like a 54 overall. So a big drop-off from our punter of the year last year, Matthew York. But Lincoln slips it through the uprights from 19, and the Seawolves are on the board. Nothing easy for Sonoma State, we know that here. And, you know, that's not a complaint. That's just me making fun of myself more than anything else. But Lincoln, number 95, looking to send it away, getting the first points of the year on the board. It'll be this defense getting their first crack this season. A couple of rough campaigns for them. Improvement from year 1 to year 2. Definitely looking to make a jump into kind of the statistical better half of the nation. And of course, a lot of variables that go into that. You know, impact goes far beyond where you rank in total yardage and all that. But certainly a number of things we would like to be better at, including pass coverage, and going to get our first chance to see that right now. Good amount of new faces on defense too, but probably a good amount of returners as well. Off play action, dropping back, looking deep. Jaden Bowie up and on it. That's an interception on the run back, being chased. And he is brought down from behind. That is the tight end, number 0, Terrence Carter, running him down. Zion Chris, number 1, throwing the interception. And the first play of the season on defense, perhaps a good omen for things to come. The Seawolves back on offense right away in Raging Cajun territory. And in this battle of red versus blue, it is Sonoma State establishing themselves early on. And the offense getting their second crack at things in this campaign, 2026. Moving at a pretty leisurely pace, cannot lie. So gonna figure out if I will essentially recreate this team on Team Builder wherever we are going into the new version of the game, or if we'll start over, use a different team. I don't know. We'll figure out all of that down the line. But likely only to finish a few. Pressure right away. Hill hit. It's loose. That is recovered, and it is getting run back. No one in sight. Suachu, the only one looking on, and it is going to be a Raging Cajun touchdown. The first one in this game here today, and just like that, a quick strike back. Rocking the baby. Louisiana, you see the quick pressure here. The freshman, Ryan Roche, does not pick up that first guy, goes for the linebacker instead. Don't have the numbers, getting cover 0 right here. We should just get it out to Ty Hardy on the swing. We have plenty of room. And even though the lead blocker is, we won't get into a whole numbers thing. Poor execution from myself leads to disaster, and Sonoma State from good to bad, just like that. And with 5:16 to go in the first, it is 7-3. Louisiana, who played a game last week in week 0 against number 20 Rutgers on the road, fell in that one 20-17, looking to get their first win of the season as they play here today. Michael Roderick on the return, the second of the return men for us. He's going to get it to the 21, faring a couple yards better than Treyun Bell on the first attempt of the season. And the offense will come back out this time, led by Bryce Frost, after John Hill got rocked for the fumble for a touchdown the play before. Gonna move the tight end Maverick Bentley, number 89, over. Put him in the slot. Play clock winding down. Frost not mobile, but we're going to try the option, and not much going on as he is tracked down. No gain. Matt McConnell once again putting his stamp on things, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 10, and it'll be a trips into the boundary formation for Sonoma State. Nickel defense counter from the Raging Cajuns. Play action from Frost. He's looking for Matt Clancy, not quite on the same page, and it'll bring up a 3rd and 10 as that strip sack has certainly gotten this offense a little out of rhythm as they take the field here again. Split backs in the backfield, Knight on the right, Hardy on the left. Clancy and Westerman, the receivers, on the right. Frost gets it out to Nolan Knight out of the backfield, but he is going to be wrapped up shy of the 1st down, and that is going to bring up a 4th and 3 for Sonoma State, their first punt of the season. Jamison Cloud on the tackle for the Raging Cajuns. And this defense, after giving up a field goal on their first outing, a couple of stops to get back into rhythm here. And that is Kevin Arias, the punter, sending it away. Out of bounds inside the 40-yard line at the 37. And this Seawolf defense will get back on the field. They've only played one play, got an interception, yet we are trailing. That is how it goes when you turn the ball over, and it immediately leads to touchdowns. Chris from the shotgun, empty backfield. He's looking deep. Double coverage. Broken up to Marvin Holland and Malik Moon on it. Good to see the secondary with a couple of stops on deep throws to start this season. Of course, the pass defense has been the thorn in the side for this unit, worst in the country each of the first 2 seasons, despite a spectacular improvement in run defense year 1 to year 2. Not much improvement in the pass defense department. 2nd and 10 here. This time Chris is going to find a man as Valentine over wanders, and it is a completion over the middle and quick to the line for this Raging Cajun offense. They run a pistol offense, which, not to get into a whole rabbit hole, but to me, not as much a defensive scheme as a formation. And Valentine, who got carved in coverage on the last play, shooting the gap here on this play here, replacing Jaquez Blanks in that linebacker role, a former safety playing at the strong safety position in year 1, a starting linebacker here in year 3, and he shoots a gap for a 2-yard loss, and it is going to bring up a 2nd down and 2. Chris quick out. That is going to be number 0, Terrence Carter, highest overall player on the team, in 89 for this Raging Cajun team. Brings up a 3rd and 7, just over 3 minutes to go in this first quarter. Ball at the 43-yard line. Receiver stacked on the right, back and tight end on the left. Chris from the pocket, moving around. Pressure getting there. Underwood cleans it up. It was Valentine that got there first. Underwood there second, and the Sonoma State defense with a sack. And that's going to bring up a 4th and 21 all the way back at the 43-yard line. A big loss for the Raging Cajun offense, and this Sonoma State defense holding steady after the offense's lapses the past couple of times out. forcing a punt here, interception, and a punt forced on the first 2 drives for the defense. Takeaways and sacks, of course, something that is a huge part of our game plan. Good to see those be the things that have brought drives to halts these first couple of times out on the field. Moving around on special teams, always a staple. Sending it away. Roderick Jr. back on the return. He's going to put the arm in the air for the fair catch. And the Sonoma State offense will head back out from their own 17. 4th time touching the ball in this opening quarter. Trailing 7-3. This formation has been part of the playbook all 3 seasons. Now, of course, Cole Schmidt at fullback, Knight at running back. Going to give it to Knight on first down. He's going to get a couple. Take it to the 19. 4 attempts for number 4. 15 yards on the ground. Of course, replacing Keontae Tyson, who was fantastic last season for us. Over 1,100 yards rushing. Over 200 or 300 yards receiving. Close to 15 total touchdowns. Really, really excellent year. Slight dip in overall going into this year with Nolan Knight in 81 down to a 76. But again, with him being just a sophomore, I think we will see him develop past that 81 overall. So the investment should be good, and we get it to him on the screen here, and he is going to get a Sonoma State first down, hopefully get us back into rhythm, and we are going to get to the line of scrimmage quick, out close to the 30-yard line. John Hill back in at quarterback, getting to see both Frost and Hill. Although cool to see more of the guys that we have recruited take on starting roles. And of course, Nolan Knight at running back and John Hill at quarterback, 2 examples of that. Another one being Milo Westerman at receiver. Same with Matt Clancy to a degree. He is a junior. I don't know if he's generated by the game or not, but we did get him in the transfer portal. Pressure quick on Hill. He's going to get rid of it just in time, and that is going to bring up a 2nd and 10. Matt McConnell really making an impact early as he gets the pressure there on the right-hand side. This is the best offensive line we have had. Strong unit. We are very big. 6'5", 320 at left tackle. 6'3", 326 at left guard. Our smallest guy at 6'2", 290-something at center. 6'5", 304 at right guard, but mid-90 strength. And then big boy at right tackle, Ryan Roche. 6'8", 327. Lowest overall, but an absolute tank. Quick out, Ty Hardy, first down. That is John Hill delivering it quickly. 3rd catch for the slot back, and Sonoma State is in Raging Cajun territory to the 49-yard line on the quick strike right there. Looking to get in the end zone for the first time this season as we get inside 1 minute to go here in the first quarter. Hardy, of course, replacing Spencer Strickland, over 500 yards receiving, over 400 yards rushing a year ago. Of course, the slot back meant to emphasize versatility, kind of a 3rd down running back, slot receiver hybrid. Very excited about Ty Hardy. Has mid-90 speed, mid-90s acceleration. Should offer more explosiveness to the position as Frost is looking for Westerman and it is off target. And it is the sophomore left guard, Sua Chu, coming up injured. Started at right tackle for us a season ago. Moves over to left guard this year. Up to an 84 overall through development. Of course, a big part of the improvement on the offensive line. Him and Miguel Weeks, 2 guys we have recruited in the mid-80s. Weeks, number 71, you see right there at right guard. An 86 overall, highest rated player on the team. We are going to get a flag after the first down incompletion, delay of game. Always part of the fun here on Rabbit Hole Sports and Media. There you see the injury with Suachu. We still at least have, again, this adds to the improvement on the offensive line, but we have the depth now where our backups are not in the mid-60s or low 70s. We have guys in the mid-70s and actually some fairly capable backups where an injury wouldn't completely ruin the season for us. So that's also nice. And why not get another delay of game? Bryce Frost having a tough time getting the snap away, but we all know the blame really belongs to me. 2nd down and 20 now from our own 41, so moved into Raging Cajun territory and right back in our own territory quickly. A trips bunch into the boundary on the right-hand side. Ball relatively in the middle of the field. On the ground with Nolan Knight. Not too much going on, only a couple. 5 carries for 17 yards for the sophomore in this opening quarter. Maybe the final play, 3rd and 18. And it will be. End of one, 7-3, Raging Cajuns. Sonoma State with a field goal to open things, a takeaway, but then a strip sack returned for a touchdown. Really turned things on its ears here early. You see the total yardage there, only 6 total yards for the Raging Cajuns, as we have close to 130, yet we trail 7-3. 3rd and 18 from our own 44 to get things going here in the second quarter. Frost in at quarterback. Hardy Clancy and Westerman to the right. Knight in the backfield on the right-hand side. Javon Moore to the left. Getting the line set. Snap away. Looking for Clancy on the corner. It's going to be broken up. And that is going to bring up a 4th and 18. Look on the replay here. I think the post from Westerman really ends up being the best option. You'll see the pause. I think he's the one breaking into space, and we really got a shot to bring him back to the ball if we make a good throw. Not a terrible read. I still think you could argue at the time we released the ball, the corner route that we ended up throwing was the best option. But with how things fully played out, I think the post to Westerman ended up being a pretty juicy and enticing option. But Arias on the field for the second time today. He will send it away. Taken from inside the 20-yard line. It is going to be Josh LeBourne and Manny Costello. They're on the tackle at the 29. It'll be the Raging Cajun offense taking back over their first drive of the second quarter. Quarterback Zion Chris, 80 overall. Solid mobility, solid arm. Really well-rounded talent. No super elite traits, but can kind of do a little bit of everything. Halfback Xylan Perry, number 21 and 83 overall. Very solid as well. Number 0, Terrence Carter, the tight end, like I said, highest rated player. Chris going to go underneath here. That is the second tight end, number 39, Carter Milliron. There, you see the name on the screen, Milliron. That's what I'm going with. His first catch of the game goes for 8 yards. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 2 from the 38. Sonoma State shifting and showing pressure. Perry gets to the outside. That is Malik Moon with a potentially touchdown saving tackle. Marquez Carty comes up hurt on the play, but it is another Raging Cajun first down as they get things going here on what I believe is their 4th drive, 3rd drive, 4th drive. Maybe just their 3rd. We've had 4, and it gets a little weird because our 2nd we, got strip sacked, so we immediately got it again. So our 3rd, they had 1, 2, yeah. So this must just be their 3rd drive of the game. Nothing going on the first 2. Perry gets it on the ground again, and Moon once again, potential last man in defense there, comes up with the tackle, but a couple of chunk runs for Xylan Perry after it was the passing game getting the first significant gains for the Raging Cajuns in the opening quarter. Running game getting its footing here. Offensive line is definitely built to be pretty solid on the ground. Moving around. Costello in the game now at linebacker. Perry in motion. Chris has a man in the flat. He is ignoring him. He's going to look to the sideline. A couple of guys in the area. Ball's up for grabs, but hits the ground. Looking for number 13, Charles Robertson, but it is incomplete, and it is going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Good job of covering things downfield. Really were forcing him to take the flat, and he either just never looked there or was refusing to take it, but not able to get ourselves set, so we are going to take our first timeout of this first half. 9:40 to go here in the second quarter. Ball on the 32-yard line. Most significant, most substantial movement for the Raging Cajuns so far in this one. As Chris and company break the huddle. 2 receivers and a tight end to the left. Gonna throw again. Looking for Perry out of the backfield on the right. That is Kai Riggins on the tackle after a pickup 5. That is going to bring up a 3rd down from the 27. Xylan Perry's first catch of the game. Saw him make his first impactful runs of the game earlier on the drive. 3 wide receivers, all to the left here on third down. Chris from the pocket. Looks out to the left. Just enough for the first down. That's Terrence Carter, the tight end, number 0. His third catch of the game for 27 yards. No chunk plays, but a 3rd down and 5, of course, impactful. And it is a first down just outside the red zone for the Raging Cajuns, as they will go to 4 receivers on a 1st and 10 here. 3 of them to the right, the wide side of the field, 1 into the boundary. The lone one being number 3, Harvey Broussard, their highest rated receiver, number 85. But Chris is going to go to the right side, and that is number 81, Jaden Johnson, matched up with number 23, Josh LeBourne. And that is going to be another first down to the 11-yard line. For the Raging Cajuns, 6 of 9 for 51 yards here in the early going for Zion Chris. Once again, we see that Trey look, 2 receivers and a tight end to the left, to the wide side. Perry to the left. Touchdown, Raging Cajuns. The offense finding pay dirt for the first time this season, and it is a 2-score lead for Louisiana. Going to go up 14-3, presumably after the extra point, and with 8:24 to go, Sonoma State on their heels a little bit for the first time this season, as what started out as a very solid first offensive and defensive drive has quickly changed. A 8-play, 70-yard touchdown drive, 2.5 minutes exactly off the clock for the Raging Cajuns. And they are establishing a little bit of control as they send away the kickoff. Treyun Bell going to take it on the return. This time he'll get to the 20-yard line. Most successful return for the Seawolves so far, this time getting to the 23. But needing to find some rhythm on offense is Bryce Frost and company as he leads them out. Clancy and Moore to the left. Hardy in the backfield on the left. Bentley, the tight end, on the right. Play action, screen game. This is Matt Clancy. Had a 37-yarder on the first drive of the game. Gets 7 here. Bryce Frost, 6 of 9, but just 31 yards here early on. Outside of that first drive, not too much going on for Sonoma State. Trying to find the rhythm with the 2-quarterback system here. Mixed results so far. John Hill going to come back in on a 2nd and 3. An overload formation on the right-hand side. Going to go with a play-action boot. Hill sets his feet and looks vertical, and maybe lucky it's not intercepted behind the receiver there, and that'll bring up a 3rd down as this Sonoma State offense really could use a conversion, needs to establish some rhythm, let their defense get some rest, reset themselves a little bit, take some momentum away from this Louisiana football team, as that fumble return for a touchdown really turned things significantly. It has not been the same game since that happened. It was a great start for SSU. Not the same. Nolan Knight on the ground on 3rd down, and he is going to get just enough for a first down, and the Seawolves will be able to keep it going, and they are going to get into some tempo here. Moving around, split backfield now. Knight and Hardy in the backfield. 2 receivers to the right. That's Clancy and Westerman with Moore to the left. Knight the back on the left. He goes into motion. Frost from the pocket. He's going to find Ty Hardy on the right-hand side. He is going to pick up 8 yards, and that is a 2nd and 2 for Sonoma State. Here we go. Time to get it in the end zone. What did we say, huh? Here we go. 2nd and 2. Saying here we go a lot. Not going to lie, every 30 minutes on the video or so, my recording software only allows me to record audio 30 minutes at a time, so I have to take a little break. Had a cup of coffee in between. Felt like we need to bring a little more energy here, maybe get us going a little bit. 2nd and 2 from the 46. Hill to the line. Hardy and Knight in the backfield. Going to bring out a classic RPO slide. Quick to Ty Hardy. Navigates the sideline. First down, Noma into Raging Cajun territory. 5 catches, 47 yards for Ty Hardy, the junior out of New Hampshire. Bryce Frost is also out of New Hampshire, weirdly enough. I don't know why so many of the dudes are from there. Interesting, but nevertheless, probably won't see too many guys from that state on the team once the default team builder guys have graduated out. So we'll enjoy having them while we do. To the line here, Frost now in the game at quarterback. It is Nolan Knight in the backfield. Moore the receiver to the left, Clancy to the right with Westerman Bentley also on the right-hand side. Looking to go with a screen. Pressure got there, but the throw was the main issue, but off the back foot was Frost. Incomplete, and it is now a 2nd and 10 with 6:07 to go here in this first half. 8 first downs for Sonoma State, dominating time of possession, double the yardage, but trailing by 11. Need to get it rolling. 2nd and 10, get a motion Clancy. Set up a stack on the left-hand side. Hardy in the backfield. Frost is going to go to him quick. Hardy cuts, looks to get a first down, just shy. His 6th catch of the game, very active first half here. Bryce Frost, 8 of 12 throwing, just 48 yards, 6 yards, a completion, 4 yards in attempt. Need to see those improved, but we will take the completion percentage. We'll be patient. We're looking to set our shots up for the right time, but it may be time to hit one sooner rather than later. 3rd down and 1 here. With the shift, have Hardy in at the fullback position. Get a motion. You'll see on the replay here, looked like a pretty big hole for Nolan Knight to run through. Just could not get him to move far enough to the right-hand side. You'll see it here and kind of get suction cupped there. But nevertheless, a first down. So, whatever. But wow, that would have been a lot of space. Would have been down to the angle of the safety to see if we would have gotten in the end zone or not. But first down, Noma, just outside of 5 minutes here in this first half. English going by the wayside here on the Rabbit Hole Sports and Media YouTube channel. 2 tight ends in the game. Jalen Vick, the redshirt freshman out of San Diego on the left. Maverick Bentley, redshirt sophomore on the right. Knight in the backfield. Moore and Westerman, the receivers. This is Nolan Knight. He's going to find a little bit of room, 4 yards to the 29-yard line. The Raging Cajuns get the ball first in the second half, and as we get down to about 4.5 minutes, depending on how quickly we navigate the rest of this drive, going to try to think about setting ourselves up to either have a chance to get the ball again before the half, or potentially somehow make this the last drive of the first half. But a nice chunk run by Nolan Knight is going to make it more likely that we want to get another possession here in the first half. Made a nice move. We're going to go quick to the line. Frost getting everyone to the line of scrimmage. Going to go play action. Quick pressure in the backfield, and that is a sack. Avery Lewis getting home, and that is going to put a halt to the momentum for the Seawolf offense. Back to the 24-yard line. Now a 2nd and 17 as we move inside of 4 minutes here in the second quarter. Beautiful day here in virtual Rohnert Park. Hope everyone in real Rohnert Park is doing well. Good to imagine what it would be like on a college football Saturday featuring the Sonoma State Seawolves. As close as we can get to it right here as John Hill checks in at quarterback. Trying to get everyone set and working up against the play clock. From the pocket, going to get it out to Maverick Bentley. His first catch of the game. Going to get 9 yards back. On the replay here, what do we think, everybody? Think we have the post with Westerman? I think we definitely have the space to make some sort of throw to him. Had a lot of room on the swing as well. I don't know who was coming out of the backfield. Nolan Knight, try Hardy. What, out of the backfield? No, ignore that. But 9 yards to Maverick Bentley. 3rd down and 8 here. And this would be a big one to get as we move just outside of 3 minutes. And I cannot lie, I don't know what I was thinking coming out and setting up a run play on 3rd and 8. I don't know if my plan was to check and then I just totally forgot, or if I blanked on what down it was. But not good operation here from myself. Hill with the snap away. Knight's going to try to make something out of it. Not able to do much. 10 carries for 44 yards in this first half. The one good thing is we will be able to run the clock close to the 2-minute warning, but even on the field goal, I don't think we will be able to get there. So, makes it more than likely that Louisiana is going to get the final touch of the ball in this first half, and then get the ball first to start the second half, which is not what we want to set up, but that is the direction things are heading here as we let the play clock dwindle down. As we get into Season 3, if you've been a regular watcher, let me know what you think of the series. I need to be more active in checking comments. I know I've had a couple, and I never even noticed that until recently, so I need to go back through those, check those out, respond to people. I have a lot of fun doing these videos, regardless of, people commenting or even watching. I have a lot of fun doing it, but would love to have feedback. Would love to kind of use fan interaction as, kind of our fan base here, sort of, an assistant coaching staff, so to speak. Help me make decisions with the team to keep things interesting and entertaining. Of course, we cannot rig things for us because I want this to be as honest of an experiment as possible. But if there's a certain team build we want to try to go after, I'm more than down to try to make it work and try to build teams in different ways, prioritize different things. It's one of the reasons I like to talk about schematics so much is, there's a lot of different ways in theory you can win. And I like to think, well, if you had this kind of group, how would you have to go about it, right? I mean, it's a lot, again, the simplest way to always look at things is, best talent wins out, but it's a mix of how you play the talent, right? But all that over the George Lincoln field goal as we get it to the 2-minute timeout. That was the main goal on the kickoff there. Make them return it so we would get to the 2-minute timeout. 1:59 to go from the own 18. Their own 18, the Raging Cajuns. But anyway, if you're a regular viewer and there's any, feedback you want to give me, good or bad, feel free to let me know. Getting ourselves set here. Chris Coe's underneath. That's number 39 once again. Backup tight end, Carter Milliron. For a pickup of 8. 2nd down and 2 as, well, I mean, the clock should technically be running, but it is not showing so they may get a little no-huddle glitch here. We'll see. No, they're just going to do the runoff late. I think it's so weird that they decided to do that. I think, anyway, I don't want to get lost. Underneath is Chris. This time it's number 3, Harvey Broussard, 85 overall. 8 of 11 for Zion Chris. Not a lot of big chunk yardage throws, but efficient for number 0. And that is the 85 overall receiver, Broussard, on the reception for a 1st down. And the Raging Cajuns are going to take their first time out of the half. Feels like an interesting time to do so. It's one of the main things. I'd love to see a way to program in better clock management. I don't know what to say. Malik Moon all over it. That's a pick. Nomination. Perhaps stealing some momentum going into the half. Number 18 puts the sword in the holster, and the Seawolves are set up with a chance to potentially tie things before the break. I don't know. That'd be a tall task. 1 timeout from our own 1-yard line. Bigger priority is not getting safety. But you'll see the replay here. Moon won the starting job over Nico Solomon, and by one I mean his overall moved higher. While quarterback, I did a whole quarterback battle and was saying how we won't go completely by overall at that position. And to a degree with other spots, we won't go completely by overall. For the most part, there'll be a lot more by overall. So Moon getting the starting free safety role, trying to avoid a safety, and Nolan Knight, perhaps his best run of the game. That is going to get us out of the shadow of the end zone, out to the 12. Not a great formation to go no huddle out of, but have no other choice if we're going to try to get points out of this. Trying to get to the line quick. Frost from the pocket. That's Westerman for the first time today, and that is the most successful throw of the game. From Bryce Frost, had a big throw from John Hill to Matt Clancy on the 2nd or 3rd play of the game. But Frost, it's been a lot of dink and dunk, and of course his best trait is his arm strength. Of course, there are positive effects to good arm strength in the short yardage, but would love to see him making some throws down the field. Go to the end around for the 2nd time today. One of the few plays we have at our disposal out of the no huddle. Really should have gone with the turbo tempo to be able to spike the ball after that 1st down and reset ourselves. Instead, we will do that there. And now we have a 3rd down. So really just one play. Would have loved to do that at a time where we can set ourselves up for a couple of plays. Because now we also kind of want to call something where the clock's not going to stop. We don't want an incompletion. But we also need to get a 1st down. And that's a harder predicament to be in. And it makes it worse when you throw it into your center's helmet. I believe looking for Westerman underneath there. But you'll see it. Griffin Huff gets kind of thrown off. And as he falls forward, gonna go right into the dome. I believe that actually might have been Ty Hardy running on the drag. And what we didn't want to do, punt the ball back to the Raging Cajuns with the clock stop. 2 timeouts, 27 seconds. Again, not a great spot for them in terms of being able to score. But weird stuff happens on this game going into the end of the half. So you just hate to give them anything that you really shouldn't. But so poor clock management for me, but need our defense to step up and make a play here. Going into the break, 22 seconds on the clock. 2 receivers left with the tight end. Back and a receiver to the right. Chris throws underneath. Got a little too cute with the scheme. And that is going to be number 81, Jaden Johnson over the middle. That is a first down to the 48. And just like that, perhaps a throw or two away from getting into field goal range. So, again, what I'm talking about, and again, I don't know why I'm always like, let's come up with something I've never done before on a play going into the half. It's just, oh my goodness. So, you know, I'm deflecting blame, everyone. I want to express that. Quick to the flat. Absolute clinic on how to surrender points before the half. And just like that, it is into field goal range. And the Raging Cajuns, you'll see it here. Not great tackling from Sonoma. Glenn, Moon, I believe DeMarvin Holland as well. I don't know what Malik Moon is doing. There's such a tendency from guys on this game to be like, oh, there's one guy there. Great, I won't tackle. I'll just kind of zone out. And it's like, come on. Multiple dudes can tackle in football. I don't know why this game refuses to acknowledge that. But they will settle for the 3 here. Would have been one more play like that away from surrendering a touchdown going into the break. And just like that, it is 17-6. So, came out 3-0, got an interception, and then from that point on, 17-3. Raging Cajuns, still a small chance to potentially do something going into the halftime break, but likely only the return and then one play, as you see the Sonoma faithful there. Energy probably feels a little deprived. I sympathize with the virtual fans in this instance a little bit. Got to get the energy up. Michael Roderick on the return here. Going to try to do something, break it to the outside. Not much going on. Gets it to the 21. Not much success breaking the 25-yard line in the return game in this first half. And Frost is going to bring the offense out for one more snap here before the break. Probably should just take a knee, to be totally honest, but that's just not, that's not who I am. It's not who I am, you know. And it's a video game. That's one thing I will refuse to align with reality, is kneeing the ball into the half. But I have at least settled for running it into the half and not trying to dial up some stupid pass, because I have been bitten with some pick sixes. Once I get a little Herm Edwards versus the Giants kind of action going into the break, I'll probably revert to kneeling as well. But you see the yards allowed, just 141 of them, but trailing 17-6, and the defense is going to have to make a statement early. And you see the play that really changed momentum in that first half there, as number 96, Matt McConnell, gets home. Number 44 on the recovery, running it all the way back. And as much as I want to complain, is like, of course we fumble, you know, on the sack. You know, it's like, well, that's kind of the danger, right? Of they hit you as you're trying to throw. Only got one hand on the ball. That's when it's more likely to happen. And when it's cover zero and a free rusher getting there, that's when it's more likely it's going to get returned for a touchdown, because none of your linemen are going back, right? Because if your offensive line loses to the defensive lineman, they're kind of following the D lineman back. They can see the fumble, recover it. But there, just no one had that guy in their blocking assignment, so no one's really tracking back with him at all. And you got no one really seeing that the ball's on the ground, able to react, and you get a disaster. So, need to be alert, need to focus on where my hot routes are, but more importantly, need to get a stop here on the first play of the second half. Quick out on the alert. Great play call as Malik Moon cannot come down with the right angle of pursuit. Does force the ball carrier out of bounds, but it is going to be a chunk gain right out of the gate for the Raging Cajuns, and they are quick to the line here to open this second half. Was a lot of dinking and dunking from Zion Crisp, but now a couple of quick throws that have broken for some bigger gains. breaking some leaks in the Sonoma State defense, but not this time. That's the transfer Pele Foao out in the flat on the coverage as pressure got home as well, looked like from Nick Forsyth, and it is going to bring up a 2nd and 12, loss of 2 yards on the pass play there for the Raging Cajuns. Once again, 2 receivers and tight end to the left. This is Perry on the ground. He gets 10, and that is going to bring up a 3rd and more than manageable for the Raging Cajuns, almost 10 yards a pop on the ground for number 21, Zylan Perry. Also a touchdown to his name as well. The lone offensive touchdown for the Raging Cajuns. Their kicker, of course, hit a field goal prior to the break. But the other touchdown coming from the defense. Perry on the counter. Lots of Seawolves in the area. Cardi can't bring him down. Lots of green. Perry in the clear. 21 in the end zone. Raging Cajuns. All the momentum now. You'll see it here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8-ish guys in the area for Sonoma State. A couple of weird animations, a missed tackle from Marquez Cardi, and number 21, Zylan Perry, perhaps breaking things open for Louisiana here. A loss last week to Rutgers, looking to get in the win column in this 2026 campaign. And after a rough start to this game today, it has been firm domination for the last essentially 2-ish quarters since that 3-0 start for Sonoma State. Their offense will get their first crack in this second half, but this Raging Cajun offensive attack has come to life. The defense has really settled in nicely, and they have a firm grasp on things here in this Week 1 contest. Roderick on the return, taken down at the 20, and trailing 24-6. It is Bryce Frost and company back on the field. 23 throwing attempts in that first half and only 6 points. Not what you want to see. Defense starting to crack in the run game as well. 6 carries and already 100 yards for Perry, picking up 51 yards on that last play there. Ty Hardy is going to run the ball for the first time today. Already 6 or 7 catches in the ball game. Picks up 4 here. Going to try to maintain our steady hand. When the other team has momentum, we kind of want to be able to slow things down a little bit, not overreact ourselves. A bit of that is being able to create some chunk runs. Going to try to do that on the option. Nolan Knight to the edge. He's got plenty of space. Knight perhaps in the clear. Getting run down and forced out of bounds, but into Raging Cajun territory at the 33-yard line. And this Sonoma State offense and this crowd, a little bit of life for the first time in a while. As you'll see, Nolan Knight get plenty of room. Option game will still be incorporated in the offense. Of course, won't be as prevalent without Teron Barnes in the mix. But as you can see, it's just a really nice way to it's almost a counter the way it runs in this game sometimes. And I could do more of a breakdown about that in another type of video, but I won't get lost here. Trying to get ourselves up here on a 1st and 10. Frost from the pocket, looking for the corner, had a couple of guys wide open underneath, tried to force the ball to Milau Westerman down the field. That is going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 on a drive that feels like it needs to end in the end zone. Of course, a field goal would get it to 2 scores, so that would still be a success. But this feels like one where getting a touchdown would really change momentum in our favor for the first time in a while. We've had a couple of opportunities to swing things back and just haven't been able to do it. Hill up in the pocket here. He gets pressured. He is taken down. That is a sack. 2nd of the game for this Raging Cajun defense. And that is going to bring up a 3rd down and 13. Number 68, Fitzgerald West Jr., getting home with a sack. Going to move over the transfer, Matt Clancy, number 14, with that defensive back in the slot not moving over. Heavy indication he is probably blitzing. We're getting a pressure off the left. So we're going to pick on a one-on-one on the right. Get 12 yards, hit LJ Young Jr. for a nice gain there. But that is going to set up a 4th down and 1. And again, like I said, feels like we need to get in the end zone to really change momentum here, and we are going to try to do exactly that. Get our power unit on the field, try to pick up this 1st down. bring in an extra offensive lineman for one of our tight ends. You'll see there Aiden Kramer coming in for Jalen Vick. And we're going to get ourselves all set. Cameron Teague, the power back. On the ground, he gets enough inside the 20. Nomination. Moving the ball into the red zone, 7 yards on the ground for Teague. And again, this crowd, a little bit of life. Need to finish this drive with some pay dirt. Here we go. No touchdowns yet. Are we a scrambling quarterback merchant? Maybe. Maybe. The allegations could be heavy. John Hill in at quarterback, bunch to the right. He's going to step up. He's got plenty of room. John Hill in the end zone. Noma Nation. Touchdown. First time in this 2026 campaign. It is the redshirt freshman from Encinitas, California. The fake former La Costa Canyon Maverick finds the end zone. The first Seawolf to do so on this campaign. Lincoln with the extra point. Life in the crowd, and it is 24-13 now as the Seawolves more than double their point total on one play here. Hill with the man coverage, stepping up, clears out an entire side. That's one of the benefits with man is you can get a side cleared out, and if you have the room to scramble, there's a lot of room to do so. We take advantage, get in the end zone. Kickoff unit had a chance to get them deep in their own territory. Couldn't quite do so. Across the 20-yard line to the 22. And the Raging Cajun offense looking to keep it rolling. Had some momentum that was really only halted by the clock going into the break. And then, of course, an electric run from Zylan Perry on that last drive there. Chris off play action. Looking across the middle. DeMarvin Holland's going to break it up. And that is going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. Nice coverage from the Seawolves. This defense looking to settle in, looking to reestablish themselves against the pass, against the run. Can they be a unit that wins games when the offense isn't at their best like they have been today? Can they get a takeaway? They already have gotten a couple, but a couple of explosive plays. Need a stop. 6 yards on the underneath throw there. Peoao on the tackle. And a chance to get the ball back as we get near the midway point in this third quarter. I don't know, was it controversial that we've kept the same defensive coordinator all 3 years? Probably. The fans would probably say so. 3rd and 4 here, looking to earn his salt, Jeff Morris, and that is the true freshman, Steven Brents, getting home with the sack. The beast with elite development, his first career sack, and that is a big play for this Sonoma State defense as they get the pressure and get the ball back to this SSU offense with momentum on their side for really the first time since early on in the first quarter. SSU, here we go. Noma Nation. Get it rocking. Rohnert Park faithful. Stadium pulse. It is loud. It's electric. Michael Roderick Jr. back for the punt. Fair catch. And here we go. Trying to make it back-to-back touchdown drives. It's getting a little noisy. The pressure is on this Raging Cajun unit for really the first time in a long time, like I've been talking about, and we want to keep it rolling. Moving, shifting at the line of scrimmage here, 1st and 10 from our 43. Frost getting everyone set. Hardy's going to move. Out quick to him. Plenty of space on the perimeter. Ty Hardy tries to make a move. Unsuccessful, but that is a 1st down. And quick to the line is Sonoma State as they have it going a little bit. Frost directing traffic. New formation. Tight end and Hardy on the right-hand side. Knight in the backfield on the left. Hardy will move over and essentially be a 2nd tight end in the formation on the left-hand side. Moore and Westerman, the receivers. Going to try to go on the ground with the counter. Needed Hardy to really lead the way there. Nolan Knight only going to get one. You'll see it again. If he just turns and gets the safety, could have been a really big run there. Instead of no gain. Knight already over 100 yards, though, and we'll get set here on a 2nd down and 10. Safety sliding into the box. That is Ryan McCaskill, number 9. Frost looking to get the unit set. Going to look to take a shot on the right-hand side here. Have a pair of quick throw options on the left. Gonna leave Nolan or Ty Hardy here to help pick up the blitz. Does so successfully. Bentley, perfect. Inside the 5, down to the 1. Big gain for the Seawolves. That's 17-89. First big throw of the game for that combo. And this Seawolf offense is rolling. The crowd loves it. The cheerleaders love it. The fans love it. And this SSU team has the Raging Cajuns on their heels here in the third quarter. And a chance for this strong offensive line to make a statement here. First and goal on the 1-yard line. Juicy look to run against Knight. Touchdown. Over 100 yards on the game in the end zone for the first time today. It is a Seawolf touchdown, and this comeback is on Noma Nation. Right in at 24-19, likely to go for 2 to make it 24-21, potentially with 4:09 to go here in the third. The crowd is very much alive, and momentum has very much swung here in Roner Park. Knight right up the middle, very easy look to run against on first and goal right after hitting him with the big pass play. Ebbs and flows of the offense. 15 carries, 110 yards for Nolan Knight as we look to get set on the 2-point conversion. Bryce Frost staying in at quarterback for this one. Going to set ourselves up with a play-action jet sweep here. Going to change that route from Ty Hardy in the slot, put him on a shallow cross. More in motion. Fake to him, fake to Knight. Hardy, got it. 2-point good, 24-21, and a 1.18 down. The Seawolves trail by just 3. You see it, the energy very much up. 4-play touchdown drive under 2 minutes, covering 57 yards, and this defense with a stop. Chance to get a second one. This offense in the end zone on back-to-back possessions after being shut out from crossing the goal line in the first half. On the return, Louisiana. Offense looking to get back in rhythm, but Josh LeBourne with the tackle on special teams. Much bigger role this year on defense for number 23, Josh LeBourne, but still getting the nod on the kickoff unit and making tackles as we look to get ourselves set here on defense. Chris and company back on the field. See if Xylem Perry becomes a part of the equation once again. Go with an alert outside. That's number 3, Broussard. He's going to pick up 4. Bowie and Underwood on the tackle. See the numbers for Chris there. 14 of 19, 146 yards on the day. Going to break the huddle here. Into the boundary. Tight end and back. Snap away for Chris. Quick to the tight end, Carter. That is a first down across the 30-yard line. 156 yards, no touchdowns, a couple of interceptions for Chris. Just over 10 yards of completion. 75% completion rate. Trips on the right-hand side for the Raging Cajuns. Chris from the pocket, pressured, looking to get it to the flat. Pass rush got home. That was Townsend, Brents, maybe DJ Dean in there as well. Putting the pressure on the quarterback. And that is going to bring up a 2nd down and 10. This Sonoma State defense looking to make it back-to-back stops here in this third quarter. On the ground, Perry. Riggins had a chance, couldn't bring him down. It is going to end up being a gain of 7. That is going to set up a 3rd down and 3. First carry for Perry there since his 51-yard touchdown run early in the third quarter. 7 carries, 107 yards, and a pair of touchdowns. Both backs over the 100-yard mark here in this one. Strong statement for each team's rushing game in this Week 1 contest. Get ourselves set here on a 3rd and 3. Chris, draw to Perry, trying to run it. Noah Forsyth having none of it. He's with the tackle at the line of scrimmage. And it is a 4th down for this Raging Cajun offense. And the momentum staying very much with Sonoma State. See that stadium pulse all the way up on the top right. Punt is away. Roderick Jr. on the return. Once again with a fair catch at the 25-yard line, and with 2:19 to go in the third, this SSU offense takes the field again in rhythm. Frost, Hill, Knight, Maverick, Bentley, all part of the equation here in this opening game. It is Frost directing traffic at quarterback with Hardy and Knight, once again the split backs in the backfield. This time Westerman and Moore, the receivers on the left-hand side. Hardy in motion, play action to Knight. Frost gets out of the pocket. He's going to find Maverick Bentley. Tight window, completion. Another explosive play between those two. That's going to take it into Raging Cajun territory, pick up a 31 yards. And that is going to be 3 catches for over 80 yards for Maverick Bentley in this game 1 of the season. Quick to the line here. Frost sets up the blocking. Hardy in motion again. This time quick out to Westerman on the perimeter. He's going to get a nice gain and out of bounds. Pickup of 8 to the 36-yard line of the Raging Cajuns. 3 attempts for 18 yards for the redshirt freshman. Tremendous growth in the offseason, 59 to a 77 overall. Going to be exciting to see how much of an impact he will have. Of course, another one of the guys that we recruited that is now one of the prominent players on the depth chart on offense. 2nd and 2 from the 36, power formation in the backfield. Heavy blitz look from the Raging Cajuns. We're going to go play action. Deep shot from Frost. Deflected in the air, chance at an interception. Cannot quite reel it in. Lucky it wasn't intercepted. Really trying to send this through the N in Sonoma in the end zone. Let our receiver run under it. Have not mastered the ability to do that on this game, if it is possible. Had an opportunity at an interception there as well. Number 24, Lorenzel Dubose with a chance at it. Lucky he could not reel in the deflection. On a 3rd and 2, one of the rare times we have ran a jet sweep, having started incorporating the end around a little more in the offense. But this time a true jet sweep. We go to Javon Moore. He gets just a few, but on 3rd and 2, that's all you need. And this nomination unit keeps it rolling. 1st and 10 from the 32. My mouth is super dry. My tongue is getting stuck to the roof of it. From the 32-yard line, John Hill directing traffic. Snap away. Pressure quick on Hill. He gets it out. Could argue it is intentional grounding. Again, have that penalty turned off because I feel like it gives us the most realistic feel for the CPU quarterbacks. Trying not to take too much advantage of that with not as great of scramblers at quarterback for us. A chance that we will do that a little more. So if we have to turn it back on, we will do so. But to the set here on 2nd and 10 from the 32. Hill remaining in. Knight joins him in the backfield. Receivers stacked to the boundary on each side. Knight on the ground, plenty of room up the middle. And he's going to take it into the red zone to the 19-yard line. This Raging Cajun defense on its heels. Nolan Knight, 16 carries, 123 yards, filling the shoes of Keontae Tyson very nicely in week 1 as Frost rotates in at quarterback and Hardy rotates in to running back in the backfield. Schmidt entering the game at fullback. Going to go to Hardy on the ground here. He's going to pick up 4, and he's going to be a little banged up, and that is going to keep us from entering the 4th quarter as there will be 1 second remaining. Here in the 3rd, 2nd and 6 from the 15-yard line. 2nd carry on the ground for Hardy, also has 7 catches, 9 total touches in the game today. Of course, replacing Spencer Strickland in that slot back position. Could not get ourselves set in time here. Gonna have to take a timeout. Could be critical down the stretch in this game. Hill in at quarterback. Knight and Schmidt, the split backs in the backfield. Bentley flexed out on the right-hand side with Westerman. Schmidt is going to motion out. We're going to go to Knight on the ground, try to get it to the perimeter. And that is McConnell tracking it down from the backside, number 96. And that is going to take us into the 4th quarter. We have a good one here in Roanoke Park in week 1. 24-21 Raging Cajuns. Battle of the running backs. 8 carries, 107 yards. Zylan Perry, 17 carries, 124 yards for Nolan Knight. Touchdown advantage for Perry, 2-1 in that department. And it is going to be a 3rd and 5 for Sonoma State as we open this 4th quarter at the 14-yard line in a position where, at worst, should at least be able to tie it up at 24. And that is big, considering at one point these Seawolves were down by 18 points. In motion, Jalen Vick. Pump fake on the screen. Underneath to Nolan Knight. He has a 1st down, and he is inside the 5-yard line to the 2. And this Sonoma State offense will keep rolling as we open the 4th quarter here. Knight already over 100 yards rushing. Adds 4 catches for 35 yards so far on the day. Long of 12 came on that play there. 1st and goal from the 2. John Hill rotates in at quarterback. Knight remains in at running back. This time, Bentley is the tight end in motion, this time joining Vic on the left-hand side. First and goal from the 2. Setting up a trap play. On the ground, Knight, end zone. Seawolves in the lead for the first time today. Nolan Knight in the end zone for the second time today. And again, at one point, 18 points down, now in the lead. This Sonoma State squad, the offensive line, showing off its improvement, showing off its strength, and Nolan Knight, the new starter at running back, giving the Seawolves the lead, quite fitting, given the sensational day he has had on the ground so far. Can this defense cap it off on what has been overall a fairly solid outing from them? Again, 10 points directly off directly off some kind of weird explosive plays that are, again, our fault, but definitely kind of goofy. One real touchdown drive, and then a touchdown given up by our offense, really, on the fumble return for a score. So, a chance to cap off a good outing today overall if we're able to make a couple more stops. Down the stretch here, 10:21 to go. George Lincoln will send it away. This one will just break the end zone. Raging Cajuns will bring it out. And they're going to break the 20-yard line, get it to the 24. Perhaps one missed tackle away from potentially breaking a huge gain there. Despite over 100 yards on the ground from their running back, Zylan Perry, only 85 total yards on the ground due to a couple of big sacks on the quarterback, Zion Chris, number 1. He's in the shotgun here. Tight end, 2 receivers on the left. Back motions over that way. He's going to throw it to him. This is Perry. He's going to make a couple guys miss, and he's going to end up with 8 yards on first down as this Raging Cajun offense looks to get back in the end zone and reestablish the lead. Just outside of 10 minutes to go here in the final quarter in what has been a thrilling opener here on the Rabbit Hole Radio Network. Again, Rabbit Hole Sports and Media YouTube channel. Sonoma State Dynasty, Week 1, Season 3, 2026 campaign. Quick out. This is Broussard. He's got a first down. Going to take it to the 40-yard line. Raging Cajuns with a little bit of rhythm now. Top receiver on their team. 3 catches for 25 yards. For the most part, held in check. Been the big plays from Zylan Perry and the missed tackles that have been the biggest story today and led to the greatest success for this Raging Cajun offense. Sonoma State defense is set. Line pinches down. Linebacker shift. Carter, the tight end, motions around. Play action to Perry. Quick over the middle. Not on the same page with the receiver. And that is going to hit right off the chest and end up being incomplete. Hard to complain about the quarterback accuracy there. Receiver just not looking for the ball. And it is going to set up a 2nd down and 10 as this Seawolf defense catches a little bit of a break. And this Raging Cajun offense cannot catch a break as they look to establish their rhythm once again. Get back in the lead. Get back in a flow of a game that they once must have felt very much in control of. And they're going to go on the ground here to the guy who has had the most success so far today. That is Zylan Perry, the running back. He gets 8 yards. That's going to set up a 3rd and 2 from the 48-yard line. 9:11 to go here in the 4th quarter. Yikes, don't mean that. Seawolf defense breaks the huddle. Backer shift, line pinches once again. To the ground. Perry tries the outside. Kai Riggins is there. Nothing going on. May have been a small loss. And this Raging Cajun offense is going to punt once again. 3rd straight stop for this Sonoma State defense after giving up the big 51-yard run to Perry on the first drive of this second half. And this Seawolf offense, with 3 straight touchdown drives in their pocket, get a chance to really put a hold on this game. 8:24 to go. They're going to take over from their own 14-yard line. It is going to be Bryce Frost on the field. Split backs once again. Hardy on the right, Knight on the left in the backfield. Bentley, the tight end, on the right. Westerman, the receiver, on the right. Moore, the receiver, on the left. This is going to be Nolan Knight. Plenty of room. Nolan Knight across the 35 makes a man miss nearly to the 40-yard line. That's going to be a pickup of 25, and Knight is over 150 yards on the ground, 19 attempts. Of course, also has 4 catches, 23 total touches. 186 total yards, a pair of scores. An outstanding display in this opening game for Nolan Knight, the sophomore from Kernersville, North Carolina. John Hill taking over at quarterback. 1st and 10 from the 39. Looking to direct traffic. Pressure quick. Gets it out quick to his hot. That's Maverick Bentley. He's had a few big catches. He's over 100 yards receiving. And the man replacing Scott McLawler as the starting tight end has introduced himself in emphatic fashion to the Seawolf faithful today. 1st down, Sonoma State. They move it into Raging Cajun territory. And both quarterbacks have had some really nice moments in this one today as John Hill stays in. Offense is going to shift. Wide splits to tight splits. Julius Buford joins Hill in the backfield. Buford's going to get it. Not much going on the ground. Devontae Duarte on the tackle. No gain on the play. And it's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 for Sonoma State. First half was a bit of a struggle, but this second half has been a much different story for this Sonoma State offense. Run, pass, it has all worked in this one. Quarterback run game hasn't been a huge part of the equation. Had a run on a true option from John Hill on the first drive, but of course a scramble from John Hill was the first touchdown, but it's going to be straight power football up the middle, getting gritty with the big boys. Offensive line in the saddle. 1st down, Nolan Knight. His 20th carry of the game takes him over 160 yards for the ball game to the Raging Cajun 32-yard line. And just outside of 6 minutes to go, this SSU offense is in rhythm, folks. Looking good after a very shaky start to the season. On the ready. John Hill back in. Pistol formation. Lone receiver is Westerman to the right, trips to the left. Clancy, Hardy, and Moore. Hill, quick out. Matt Clancy. Plenty of room. Matt Clancy. Touchdown. The transfer with an exclamation point for Sonoma State. That's a 2-score lead. Number 14 takes it across. And this SSU crowd is electric right now. The Seawolves, 4 straight touchdown drives. And from out of the cellar to a 2-possession lead. The Seawolves, the feisty faithful, all over the Raging Cajuns in this second half. Matt Clancy outrunning his man. John Hill, a rushing touchdown earlier. That will go in the book as a throwing touchdown. 3 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown now for Matt Clancy in his debut in a Seawolf uniform. A pair of guys making their first appearance on the field this season. Of course, John Hill was a part of the team a season ago. Did not play at all. Red-shirted, part of the quarterback equation this season, and he gets his first career touchdown throw, an easy one to Matt Clancy, and we are going to look to go for 2 again. Force them to have to get in the end zone twice, but for some reason, they run this option like a QB sneak. Absolutely ridiculous. Ty Hardy somehow gets banged up again. You'll see it again there, just no effort at all from John Hill to get outside, so may have to scrap that play from the playbook, look to go a different route to incorporate that kind of concept. Unsuccessful try there, but a 10-point lead for Sonoma State. 34-24, a 28-0 run from down 24-6. George Lincoln certainly getting a workout in this second half on the kickoff department. Maybe not as much with the extra points, a pair of 2-point conversion attempts. Has gotten a couple of field goals in there as well, so 4 kicks for points. Has sent it away 7 times on the kickoff. And this defense, with 3 straight stops under their belt, comes back on the field. Quick out from Chris. That's going to be a pickup before Michael Roderick crashing down with a nice play. And you see the injury concerns continuing for Ty Hardy there. From the 18, stacked receivers on each side for the Raging Cajuns. Classic shift and pinch from the front. Chance there for a no gain, but once again, the defensive backs are going to clean things up. And that's going to bring up another 3rd down here, just outside of 5 minutes. And as this clock continues to wind in this 4th quarter, and with the lead being where it is, these 3rd downs getting ever so critical for the Raging Cajuns. Man in motion. Play action for Chris. Looks to get it outside. A couple of guys there to break it up, and it is going to bring up a 4th down for the Raging Cajuns. This Sonoma State defense staying steady, and that is going to set up a 4th down that Louisiana feels they got to go for. Down 10 points here with 4:52 to go in the 4th quarter. Pair of tight ends on the right side. Pistol formation. Running back behind Chris in the backfield. This is Perry. Cannot get it. Very close play. Kai Riggins makes the tackle just in time. Surprised they're not reviewing the spot, but why would there be a review on anything that actually would necessitate a review in the game? Stop for the Seawolf defense, and this offense gets the ball in very good field position and maybe a chance to ice things away here with less than 5 minutes to go. And Nolan Knight going to continue his successful outing here in the debut for the 2026 campaign, the 2026 Seawolves. Bryce Frost leading them out on a 2nd and 2. Clock winds under 4:20. Looking to the sideline for a change. I've ran this concept before, so going to look to get Westerman on the right-hand side on a different route, show their corner something different from what he has seen before. From a hitch, 2 and out. Great changeup. Westerman on the sideline, and it's down to the 2-yard line. Frost hits him in stride. Seawolves, 1st and goal, threatening to go up 3 scores with a touchdown and extra point. Huge change from where things were at the beginning of this second half. There you see the QB comparison. Over 190 yards for Frost. He will stay on the field here. We'll get into our own pistol look. 2 receivers and a tight end to the right. Nolan Knight behind Frost. Moore, the receiver, on the left. Throw cannot get out. Another kind of weird animation with the edge there. But incomplete pass. Going to bring up a 2nd down and 2. Going to come out in the same formation. Frost in once again. Snap away to the corner. Westerman. Touchdown. Noma Nation. The faithful. What a comeback. What a turnaround. And it has almost gotten lopsided the other way. Lou Westerman, 1st career touchdown catch, and it is a 40-point outing for this offense. Who would have thought, sitting at 6 points just above the midway point in this 3rd quarter, things have swung in a big way. Frost to Westerman, could have gone to Clancy in the flat there as well, probably. The 1st touchdown toss of the season for Frost. Each quarterback with a throwing score. Hill has, of course, ran for one as well. And once again, just what an absolute change. I mean, we came out, we're playing great the first offensive series, first defensive series. Then from there, it was all Raging Cajuns for essentially 2 quarters of football. And then about a quarter and a half now, it has been all Seawolves. And we've done it the way that, I've envisioned building the team. Great offensive line play, being able to stay steady with the run, allowing that to set up explosive throws down the field, using screens and quick alerts to kind of replace the outside running game, allowing the defense to settle in, get some sacks, taking advantage of some takeaways ourselves. So, really nice to see as we get going here in year 3. Huge test next week, of course, on the road against the preseason number 1 team, Oregon. We'll, of course, see what they do here in week 1 themselves. That will be a much bigger test than week 1, or than this game here today. But the way the game started versus the way it's going now, much more optimistic feel. Just under 4 minutes, Louisiana offense to the field again. Likely in a pass-only mode now. Only a 3-man rush. Plenty of time. Weird stuff going on there. Look to check it down to Terrence Carter, who it looked like was helping out with the blocking and then kind of got tangled up. Not totally sure what happened there. But nevertheless, an incompletion. 2nd and 10 now. Pistol formation, 2 tight ends, running back, 2 receivers. Chris goes over the middle to Carter. That's going to be a 1st down. Getting right to the spot, and the no huddle out now for Louisiana. 4 eligible receivers out to the right, 1 to the left. Chris from the pocket, going to work in the middle of the field for a completion. That's going to take it to the 38-yard line. Needing a quick score is this Raging Cajun offense, and they are moving at the necessary tempo to do so. Quick out again. Jaden Bowie couldn't find the ball, and quickly into Seawolf territory. Chris has his man once again. 3 straight completions there, and 3 straight plays with the no huddle. Snap quick away again, just over the head of the transfer Pele Foyao, and it is into the red zone inside of 3 minutes here. And the tempo relentless here from the Raging Cajuns. Checking to the sideline quickly. Getting set. In the area, that's Marquez Carty. A little bit of a chance to reset for Sonoma State with the incompletion. 2:47 to go. 2nd and 10 from the 14 for Louisiana. 41-24, Sonoma State in front. Movement from the front. Going to go to the ground game, Zylan Perry. He's going to get 4 yards right to the ball on a 3rd down and 6. Chris getting everyone set. Perry looking gassed. Chris from the pocket. Out to the side. Hung on to. That is a touchdown. A needed one for the Raging Cajuns. Their first since the early parts of this second half. San Frisco McGee, that's fun to say, with the touchdown. Extra point is going to be up and good, and it is 41-31. So 3 timeouts remaining, 2-minute timeout as well, 2:27 remaining, not quite over yet, as Louisiana set to attempt the onside kick, keep their hopes alive. Josh LeBourne up to get it, special teams savant, and he's going to be brought down at the 41. Ty Hardy somehow stays on the field. I've taken him off the depth chart everywhere like 4 times at this point, it feels like. But somehow keeps finding his way onto the field and ending up injured. Of course, that would happen as you get down to the end of the game here. 10-point lead. Frost in at quarterback. Going to try to set up something fancy, and I just do not have the time at all to do that. So we end up drawing a false start. Going to set ourselves back here.
False start, offense.
There you see the injury for Ty Hardy, muscle cramps. Got to get the electrolytes in. A banana, perhaps. 1st and 15 from the 46. Once again, trying to get exotic. And I could go on a tangent about how you should be able to snap the ball with guys in motion, but nevertheless, just doing way too much, and we put ourselves in a hole here. 1st and 20. Now on the our own 49-yard line. False start and a delay of game. The stubbornness when unnecessary is going to be our biggest thorn this year, if anything else. Setting up the same thing again, this time doing it in time. And it's not even going to work. Frost tries to get out of the pocket. Ends up fumbling, but it goes right out of bounds. And this clock is going to stop. Not going to get it to the 2-minute timeout. Going to allow the Raging Cajuns to keep a timeout. And that is going to bring up a 2nd down and 18. Frost staying in. Trips into the boundary. Moore the lone receiver to the left-hand side. Option look. Knight. Gets it to the edge. Makes a man miss. And on 2nd and 18, Nolan Knight, an exclamation point run perhaps, as he picks up the 1st down, getting it to the 29-yard line, helping us overcome some mental lapses from myself. That is going to take it to the 2-minute timeout. And a Seawolf victory looks a little more clear here in week 1. Frost staying in. Hardy somehow ends up back in the game. Checking with the sideline out of the 2-minute timeout. Westerman moves over. Trips into the boundary. Tight end on the right. Westerman on the move. Snap away. Quick throw on the alert. Room on the edge. Westerman's going to get 8. Hardy ends up hurt again because, of course, he would. You know, why have the other team use timeouts? Why wait till the end of the game? You know, why not wait till the end of the game to have guys get hurt? I don't know how he's even still on the field. Anyway, 1:55 to go. If they could add some sort of voice command where I could go in and just say, please don't let this guy get in the game in any way whatsoever, that'd be awesome. But 2nd and 4 here, 1:55 to go. I formation. Nolan Knight on the ground, plenty of room. That's a first down, and that takes him over 200 yards in his first career start. Going to be fun to see where his career goes. The sophomore, Nolan Knight, out of Kernersville, North Carolina. First time out taken from the Raging Cajuns. 1:51 to go in the 4th quarter. Been a good mix of success in the run and pass department today. Really nice to see. Really nice to see both quarterbacks have some success as well. And that is going to take Nolan Knight back under the 200-yard mark. Of course, with his receiving yardage, is significantly past 200 total yards in the game regardless. A loss of 1 there, so maybe right at 200 yards. 1:49 to go. Second timeout from the Raging Cajuns. Frost getting the bulk of snaps here down the stretch. He is essentially our 1A, but it's like a 1A, 1AA kind of. Julius Buford on the ground. Touchdown, Noma Nation. Why not one more? This Seawolf offense absolutely rumbling. Here in this second half, 42 points in the second half after just 6 in the first. Julius Buford joins the party. He puts the crown on his head and the cap on this game. Number 28, I believe he redshirted a year ago. Saw him a little bit in the first season of the Dynasty. There you see the time of possession from the game today. Absolutely dominated by Sonoma State. George Lincoln will get one more crack at a PAT here. He sends it up and in, and it is 48-31. SSU. Who would have thought? This offense really not in a flow in the first half, and it has been nothing but flow here in the second half. Going to see if the defense can finish off the game on a high note, and we will get ready for a big one in Eugene next week, where Rabbit Hole Radio will once again, of course, be on the call following SSU football on their journey to the top of college football. Special teams on the tackle there at the 28. Zion, Chris, and company will get another crack at it. 258 total yards passing, 103 total yards rushing for this Louisiana team today. Barring something substantial, we'll be falling to 0-2 on this campaign. Of course, last week a loss to Rutgers. Been a successful couple of seasons in their first couple of tries here, as Chris tries to get it to the outside, incomplete. 1:38 to go here in this one. 2 receivers and a tight end to the right, 1 back and 1 receiver to the left. Chris to the air. Plenty of time against a 3-man rush. Finally finds a man over the middle. That's Terrence Carter. His most significant catch of the day. That takes it into SSU territory. First down, Louisiana from the 47. Clock winds just outside of 1:20. Getting everyone set as number 1. Quick out, Carter once again, this time for 6 yards on first down. Clock will stop as he gets out of bounds. Takes it to the 41. Comparison of the tight ends, both impactful. Carter 7 catches, 79 yards. Bentley 4 catches, 101 yards. Underneath from Chris here, this is going to be number 81. Jaden Johnson on the reception. He's had a solid impact in Game 1 here today. Or Game 2 for the Raging Cajuns. Game 1 for the Seawolves. Snap away from the 26. Tight window. Squeezes it in under Josh LeBourne. Over 300 yards now for Zion Chris. 27 completions, 38 attempts. Of course, this would be something that's booth reviewed. Not that I'm against getting the call right, but if they know the call is correct, I'd rather have them, have them review more high leverage calls when they know the call is going to be right anyway. But Josh LeBourne's going to ice this one. He gets the interception, makes a man miss, and that is a cap on it. SSU in the win column of victory, continuing where we left off a season ago. And, I mean, you would say a tale of two halves, but, I don't know, first half continued early into the second half, and then from that point on, domination. At one point, 24-6 Raging Cajuns, 42-7 Seawolves down the stretch. Nolan Knight's going to get one more carry here. That actually officially puts him under 200 yards there, takes him down to 198. Don't know why I'm not just kneeling it. Going to, of course, decide to do that on this one here today. But great game overall, looking in totality. Going to have to see if we can find some ways to create more rhythm, because it's going to be hard to escape a 24-6 hole against a team like Oregon. Going to have to be able to stay competitive throughout the game, more likely. But final kneel down there from Bryce Frost. Clock is going to run out, and SSU is going to put one in the positive side to start this season. See the guys celebrating, send the faithful home on a high note. Nolan Knight, 198 on the ground in 25 attempts, 2 touchdowns. Added 35 through the air on 4 catches, 233 total yards. Do we have a Heisman dark horse in our midst here with Nolan Knight? Perhaps. Xylan Perry, of course, made his name known in this one. A couple of explosive runs, some exciting plays from this Raging Cajun team, but it was SSU prevailing with a dominant fourth and most of the third quarter, as we'll get a look at the total stats here in a second. 418 yards from Louisiana, but 606 from SSU. A lot of snaps of offense for us. 79 total, 272 on the ground, 334 through the air. Both quarterbacks over 100 yards. Frost almost 200 at 194. Good mix of guys getting touches on the ground. Hardy leads us in catches, but Bentley leads us in yards. Brents registers a sack. His lone tackle, the true freshman. Only tackle of the day was his first career sack, and it was a big one as it set up our possession that gave us the lead, and we did not look back from that point on. Xylan Perry, very solid game. 13 carries, 125 yards, a pair of touchdowns. And Terrence Carter solid as well, 7 catches, 79 yards to his name. I don't know if it said 2 scores. I might have been misreading that. But nevertheless, great game for the Seawolves. 48-31. We will get set to head to Eugene next week against the team currently ranked number 1. Should be the best team we've played, and going to be exciting to see how our development matches up.